What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet. The brother who told you not to show off your white woman while you're running for the presidential office, but you did it anyway, and now your bigoted white voters have kicked you to the curb. And I'm black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. Tim Scott. Tim Scott, I tell you, no soon as I talked about Daniel Cameron getting the boot from trying to run for the governor's office, I found out that Tim Scott had bowed out of the primaries for becoming the Republican nominee for the president of the United States. And I don't know what possessed this fool's mind to think that he had a chance of becoming president of the United States. I don't know who told him that, or who filled his mind up or gassed his head up. He must have ate one too many butter biscuits, I'm telling you, to think that he had a chance at that. Because as goofy as this man looks, you would think he would know better. This man literally looks like an older version of Mush Mouth from the Fat Albert cartoons. I mean, gums from here to there. He's got more gums than a Bubblicious factory, I'm telling you. And, anytime you see him with that big old Sambo grin, you just can't help but laugh at him. And I know white folks laugh at him. I've actually seen them do so. They just love him. They think he's the happy-go-lucky Negro. That's why they like him so much. Like, I've seen that's how they talk about him on like certain message boards and some of those like political message boards for Republicans. That's basically how they talk about him. He's just a happy-go-lucky Negro. That's why they love him so much. He's such a good-natured, good old boy, right? And they just want to pat him on the head and feed him some biscuits under the table. But yeah, this fool was basically trying to become the Republican nominee for president, and his white constituents basically told him, "Don't go no further." Okay, this is enough for you, Negro. You're already a senator. You're not getting any further than this. Just like with Daniel Cameron, you're already the attorney general in your state. This is as far as you go. All right. Now, Tim Scott, he has a white woman as well. Well, he wasn't married to one like Daniel Cameron. He just popped up with a white woman just out of nowhere, which was hilarious. And I've already seen brothers like Torian Rain and Mr. Superboy and Professor Black Truth and a few others already talking about Tim Scott and his white woman. And, they said it reminded them of when Cory Booker popped up with Rosario Dawson. And that's the first thing I thought of, too, when Tim Scott came out with the white woman. It's like, because Tim Scott was getting accusations that maybe he's a gay man because he lives, he's a bachelor, quote unquote, the same as Cory Booker. And just when those accusations started ramping up, they automatically just appear with a girlfriend or whatever. At least Cory Booker got himself an actress, someone who's well known. Tim Scott basically called an escort service. That's what it looked like to me anyway. And got himself a bottom shelf Becky. He got one on discount. And, popped up with her as his girlfriend and claimed that they had been dating for a while, knowing good and damn well she wasn't dating your big gum, Mr. Ed looking self. But, that's what politics is nowadays. It's such a minstrel show, especially when you consider the black people, not just on the conservative side, but the liberal side as well, that it's hard to take anything seriously from these people. So, the fact that he bowed out, that's probably like one of the best things that he could have done. And in a way, I'm glad that he did so, but in another way, I'm kind of upset because I wanted to kind of laugh at him all the way through the primaries campaign. I wanted him to keep going, just like I wanted Herschel Walker to keep going, because I think these two buffoons are just a gold mine when it comes to content. So I kind of want ignorant stuff like that to keep on going. But yeah, I knew he wasn't going to make it. Now I wasn't sure he was going to drop out this soon. Like, it's very rare when a politician actually sees the writing on the wall like this, where he, looks at the numbers and people just basically tell him you need to get up out of there. He didn't take him too long to get the point that they don't want him as the nominee. And a lot of people have speculated that the fact that he, because he popped up with that white woman, that was a bridge too far for his constituents out there. And, that could be it. That could be it. I personally think that it had more to do with someone giving him a phone call and letting them know who the Republican nominee was going to be later on and who people were looking at. So they told that Negro to just, bow out and get out of there while you can. And he, like a good slave, he followed exactly what Massa told him to do. And I truly believe that's how it happened. Now, I don't think the white woman helped. Not at all. Like, he should have found himself a black woman. But sad to say, there is no black woman, whether she be liberal, conservative, or whatever, would have any dignity to want to be with this clown. If you didn't get yourself a black woman at a young age before you start buck dancing for politics like you do now, then you were never going to get one. Okay, and that's sad. Even the conservative black women wouldn't want anything to do with this fool. They'll claim that he's one of them or that he has good talking points or whatever, but they wouldn't be caught dead with him at a restaurant or on a date or letting him kiss them or hug them or whatever. That's sad. It's pitiful, but it's funny as hell as well. So already we got one of these buffoons up out the paint for the presidential race, but now we got these other extremely racist minorities to run in that spot. Okay, you still got a lot of these Indian bigots who are running for the GOP and thinking that maybe they can kind of slide in there with some Trump type rhetoric, shitting on black people, and people like DeSantis also shitting on black people or anything that they think has to do with black people, like critical race theory and everything else, just sending out a bunch of buzzwords and bigot language to get voted for in there. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how these other minorities get thrown through the tumble dryer and see if they get kicked out from the GOP. I already know. I don't think any of them are going to get the nomination, by the way. They're basically just out there to spew as much bigotry and be the bigot-proof vest for white supremacy on the conservative side. So they can say all the racist things that white people on the conservative side want to say about black folks and other minorities, and they can, get away with it because they're quote-unquote minorities themselves. So, you let me know how you feel about Tim Scott, Mr. Mushmouth, being, bowing out of the race. And let me know what you think about some of these other bootlicks that they still got going on there in the conservative side for the Republican primary. Anyway, Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on the devil's back.